Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peeps, my peoples. Peep Squad is in the building, baby. We going to the top. We're going to bring others with us. So please become a part of Notification Squad. Peep Squad, hit that notification bell. Know each and every time I drop a video, I'll be the first one to comment, baby. So let's talk about Red Table Talk with Tiny and T.I. I was like, OMG, T.I. got off very easily on this episode or part 2 of Tiny and T.I. I was like, OMG. And I was like, yo, he got off easy. And I believe he got off easy because I believe that Jada really thought that their marriage probably was shaky and she didn't want to do anything to disturb it, because it seems like Tiny was looking at T.I. for validation and to make sure she say the right thing and not the wrong thing, even though Tiny was trying to have T.I. own up to his past mistakes and his past behaviors and actually take ownership, and he didn't do that. And I was just like, yo, what is really going on with this situation? It also seems like Tiny has went back to that role of being very submissive, and she doesn't want to hurt T.I.'s feelings. She doesn't want to get him mad. She wants to stay close to him and next to him because she feels like she might lose him. And I believe that, he put himself up on a pedestal more than he puts her. And that's a problem, that she feels like, he's glue. Not glue, but he's like slippery. He's like slime. And she's just trying to hold on to him, hold on to her love with hooligan, baby. I was just like, what is really going on with this situation? And T.I. was basically like, take me as I am and as I is. And at the end of the interview, T.I. says that I wanted the old woman back. I wanted the same energy I had before when I first met Tiny back. And that was that submissive energy and letting T.I. run and take over everything. I was like, Lord have mercy. And even Jada looked at Tiny, was like, you got that look in your eyes. And Tiny was like, it's love, girl. No, it's not love. It's fear. And it almost seems like Tiny feels embarrassed about how T.I. talks and how he conducts himself when they're talking about their relationship and their history. Like, it's like whatever. Like, she was like, he thought the grass was greener on the other side. He was like, no, I didn't think the grass was greener on the other side. Basically, Tiny was saying, you left me for this other woman, and then it didn't work out like the way it was supposed to, and you came back to me, and he wouldn't admit that. I was like, He said, oh, I came back because of friendship. I came back because it is. I came back because I would never have a bond like the way I have with you. And basically, T.I. was just basically saying that he married Tiny because his father told him to, and he wanted to make it right in his father's eyes because his father died before he was a married man. His father wanted him to find a significant other. Then on top of that, T.I. said that, what always brought them back together was death and jail. Like, ooh, Lord have mercy. Death and jail, not love. Not connection, not because we have a purpose together. It was just like death and love brought us back together. And then when Tiny was like, we was engaged and we were supposed to get married, and 2007, T.I. was like, what are you talking about? I don't remember. Like, how do you remember? How you not remember, T.I.? Tiny was like, we had wedding plans. We was planning a wedding and everything. T.I. was like, I have no idea what you talking about. I don't know. But you know what? Tell the people. Tell them whatever you need to tell them, because I don't know. I was like, damn, you didn't even know that you can't remember that you was planning a wedding and 2007. Because you wasn't there, you wasn't in it, you wasn't with it. Or you just said something to pacify Tiny and forgot all about it, like she didn't even exist. I was like, damn. But also, they also lost a baby in 2007, which brought them back together again too as well. And then they end up being back together because, they had a miscarriage. And I'm so sorry that they did have a miscarriage and they had to, deal with that situation, because that is a tough situation. But for him not to even know that they was planning a wedding, I was like, wow, T.I., what was you doing? Was you on that heavy stuff? Like, did you have memory loss? Was you doing that stuff too hard? Were you taking that narcotics too much that you couldn't remember? Or what was the case? But they lost the baby and that brought them back together. And T.I. said, you know what? If I don't marry her now, I'm never going to marry somebody else. So if I wait, let me just get married. So when he got out of jail, they got married because he said he might as well do it. I was like, damn. And he also says because of his father too as well. And it's not because I love her, not because I could live without her, not because, she was my soulmate. She's a part of my soul. I'm a part of her soul. No, I might as well do it because, you know what? If I wait any longer, I ain't going to get married. I was like, damn, what is going on, T.I.? I was like, T.I., like, Lord have mercy, what is good with this situation? But Tiny put up with it. And you can tell that Tiny felt hurt by what he was saying, because he wasn't, caring about her feelings. And by now he should know what would hurt her or not, because they've been together for decades now. And I was just like, T.I., what are you doing? T.I. was like, I didn't want to start over again, because, he didn't want to get married again. He didn't want to start all over again because he's impatient. He ain't got time, to be with another woman and make the shit work, make another woman submissive. And then on top of that, Tiny, she filed for divorce the first time. And when she did, she could not serve T.I. his papers because he was MIA. She couldn't find him. He was gone. He was somewhere living lavishly. He was living in a lump of luxury, baby. She couldn't find him. And so then, they end up getting back together after that situation took place. And then she also said that, he was about to go back to jail again. So he was like, you know what? Let me get married to Tiny because I just got out of jail. I'm about to go back to jail. So let me just marry her. Basically to hold her down, to lock her down, to make sure nobody ever comes in and take his piece of the pie, take his woman too as well. I was like, So he locked her down to get married with her because he didn't want nobody else to have her, even though he wasn't ready to commit to her, but he was about to do time, just like Jewels just married Kim Bella because he was about to get locked up, and he did get locked up, and he was about to do some time. So we have that situation. I was like, damn, what's really going on, T.I.? What's going on with your situation? So he finally did get married, and then they was about to get a divorce, and they made up again. And once they made up again, his father died, and so they continued their marriage. But then Tiny was like, I told him, like, we got to get married. Like, what else? It's time for me to be your wife because, I've been waiting for you while you was in jail. I've been a good girl. I haven't been doing nothing. I haven't been doing this. I haven't been out in the street. I just been waiting like a good old wife for you. And he was like, and T.I. act like he didn't believe her. I was like, damn. He acted like he didn't believe anything that she said. But he got married to her because he felt like it was the right thing to do. And he didn't want to start all over. I was like, shit. And also Tiny was like, when they separated again, that the things that T.I. texted online really he posted online really kind of hurt her feelings in the whole nine. And basically she was saying that, T.I. saying what he said online to her, unlike women, men lose all power after they say I do. Their masculinity dies too. There's a good chance they will lose their friends, their respect, their space, their sex life, their money. And so, Tiny was like, this hurt me so bad for T.I. to say this. And T.I. was like, and she was like, it's very insensitive if he said and she says, that was directed towards me. You can't tell me it wasn't directed towards her, because at this time they were separated. And he goes, no, it wasn't directed towards you. I'm a philosopher. I say things to people, whatever, to encourage people and this and that. But he was like, you don't care what I think, you care what everybody else think and what they say. And he was like, no, I'm just a philosopher and it had nothing to do with you, and I'm being honest. I was like, okay. It is what it is. I was like, damn. And T.I. says that, he put a lot of stuff out there on the gram. Tiny put a lot of stuff out there on the gram. They was both chilling, having a good time. But T.I. was actually out here in relationships and having sex with other women. And we all know who they are. It was a handful of them. And Tiny said she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't with anybody. And she just watched this. Maybe she went out. She had a good time. She partied. And we seen her with Floyd Mayweather, but it was nothing like that. So then T.I. said he came back the second time because, he left too as well, because he was like, Tiny wasn't the person that he built with for almost 19 years. Like, they was together. She changed on him. She got a voice, And then that she got a voice, and she changed on him because he went to jail the second time. And she was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to pay these bills? T.I.'s locked up. He's not making money. He's not doing shows. He's not putting out albums. He's not doing the things that he said that he was going to do. So she said she found her voice. And when she found her voice, she started working again. She was on TV. She was doing a little bit of music here and there. She was managing. Basically, she was getting her money right because she was taking care of her family, her mom, her father at the time, and she was taking care of them. So she finally got a voice, and she finally figured out that she didn't want to not have a voice anymore. And she built herself up, and she built, things that she can have for a lifetime that she can pass on to her children too as well. And T.I. was like, oh, and basically Tiny was saying that T.I. controlled her. He controlled everything she did. He didn't want her to do music. And he was like, oh no, I did not tell you to do an Escape album. She said he was very, very controlling, and she couldn't go out there and work because he didn't want her to. He said that he wanted her to stay in the house barefoot and pregnant, and that's the way he wanted, and he didn't want her to do anything else, and he was going to support her, her family, her mother, and everybody else, and he did. But then that's when he got locked up, and she was like, you know what, I gotta do me. And she found her voice, and T.I. was like, you never lost your voice. You muted your voice because you was in love, because you wanted to be with me. And so therefore you didn't want to confront me. You didn't want to go against anything that I said because you didn't want to lose me. In so many different words. He didn't say it just like that, but that's how he said it. He was like, you sacrificed yourself to be with me. I was like, damn. And he was like, you changed your mind. I told you from Jump Street, I didn't want you to work. I didn't want you to do this. I'll take care of everything. And then in the midst, you change your mind. You want to go out here and do this and do that and do all this other stuff and get your voice and basically put me on a back burner like you don't need me. And then T.I. said he also felt less than of a man when he got out of jail the second time because he didn't have money. He didn't have the things that he had before he got locked up. He couldn't make the power moves. He wasn't in control. So the best thing for Tiny in the relationship with T.I. was for him to go to jail, for her to actually find her voice and actually get back in the industry and started working and making deals and products and branding herself, branding her family, getting TV deals with VH1. So it was a blessing to her, but it wasn't a blessing to T.I. being locked up and being away from his family, his kids, and losing his freedom. But for her, she was actually able to change. And T.I. did not like that when it came out because he said they were supposed to move as a unit. When he got home, he was telling her, we need to do this and we need to do that. And she was like, no, we can't do this and we can't do that because I got to do this. I'm on probation. You on probation. You can't leave the house. And so T.I. was like, nah, then I'm out. I'm out of this relationship. And then he went and did what he had to do. And he realized that he wanted to be with his best friend, his soulmate. And now he didn't even say soulmate, his sex partner, his best friend and sex partner. But he basically said that he stayed the same way. He stayed the same way. She changed with wanting to work and be a career woman too as well. He didn't say it in them words, but I'm just breaking it down. And then on top of that situation, he said, I was like, damn, T.I., you be doing way too much, baby. Sometimes you just need to be quiet and let your wife talk and let her be ahead of the game, because you basically seem like you're an over-aggressive, controlling male, and you was controlling to your daughter, and that's why you went to go get her hymen checked, because you want to be in control of all things. And I don't know if it's love or if it's fear. I think Tiny has a lot of fear of T.I. And I think, Jada Pinkett Smith, she picked up on that too as well. And now they're moving together, but he said he could never live without her. And the reason why Tiny accepted him back, because she said T.I. actually changed and he's a different person. He's a better person, and he's actually he's actually somebody she wants to be with. I was just like, damn. It just seems like, if Tiny ever get a chance to escape, she ain't gonna never turn back and look back if she actually find herself, because it doesn't seem like T.I. validates her feelings or think that she's important, that he feels like she's always going to be there. She's not going to walk away, and he can still have his cake and eat it too, and still will. And if he has to step on her in the meantime to build himself up and climb on top of that ladder and be more successful than his wife, he is going to do that. That's what it seems like. But this is all perception and what we know, and then the interview. But at the end of the day, I think T.I. does love Tiny, but he loves it to a certain extent. His ego is way more important than her. And he says she has the ego. She says, no, you have the ego. So, they were in counseling, and hopefully they continue counseling. I was just like, damn, this is shocking. Not shocking, but it just doesn't seem like it's more of a control and power with T.I. than it is love. And the reason why he left, he was with a submissive woman like he wanted to be, but he came back home because he knew he couldn't build like the way he could build with Tiny and have TV shows and everything like that. And that's probably business-wise he was thinking, and for his children he was thinking that too as well. But he also said that he loves Tiny and that's his best friend, and when he hears good news, he wants to bring it to her. Peace. What do you guys think about this situation? I was like, couldn't be me, baby. But everybody has their own type of relationship and how they love each other. Everybody's relationship is not for everyone. So just because their relationship is working out, you may not be able to be with a man like T.I. You may not be able to be with a woman like Tiny. And so, because a lot of men don't like women that are submissive. And the way he said, oh no, you was quiet because you wanted to be quiet, because you was sacrificing yourself to be with me.